Any psychology here? Are you aware of what's about you or not?
All you're focused on now is getting out onto the pitch. Obviously, you have the national anthem and the handshakes to do as well, but all you want to do now is get out on that pitch and get the game started. You've done all your preparations, you've done all your stretching, you've said everything you have to say, and now it's crunch time, and this is what you've trained, this is what you've worked for all week.
It's a long walk before eventually you emerge into the daylight. What can you see from there, if you're bothered?
You can't see a great deal, to be honest, but what happens is that you start off coming out of the dressing room, and the nearer you get to that end of that tunnel there, the louder the noise gets. And when you get out into the open, it doesn't off make a loud noise and a big crescendo it is, and it's a great feeling.
Everybody, I suppose, has their own different and particular routine. Noisy ones, quiet ones. You were a thoughtful one, weren't you?
I was a bit of both, to be honest. I've never been thoughtful in my life, so I'm not going to start now. Tony Adams is the noisy one. He would have done his talking. He would have got the lads up. He would have had plenty to say, shouting and screaming there. He's got everyone in the right frame of mind. He's done half of his job now. The rest is just starting.
It's here, is it? This kind of point when
this bit here, you've heard the crowd a little bit when you come out of the dressing room, but as you're walking out the top end of the tunnel here, the noise really is.
What hits you? Air, noise?
It's everything. The whole of the atmosphere. You sort of get sucked into it. You take a deep breath, and I mean, this is what football is all about. This feeling. It doesn't get any, as I said, any better than that. Walking out and looking forward to the national anthem now.
What do you think about now? Game, parents, wife?
Yeah, you have a look for your family and your wives up, and you give them a wave, and you walk over to that red carpet up there, and just give everyone a wave, and then get on with the business, which is what we're all here for.
It is England's home. At this point, this sort of atmosphere, this noise, do you almost believe yourself to be invincible?
You do, and as I said, you've done all your psyching up you can. And this is, as I said, this is what all the hard work's about. This is what you've sacrificed everything for moments like this. And Germany at Wembley for the last time, great occasion. We just hope, as everyone does, that we can go out and put in a turn now, put in a good performance and get the point.
Surely at this stage, time's come just to start the game. There's a lot of handshaking to go on yet, isn't there? A lot of pleasantries to be had. Then finally you can break.
Yeah, you've still got 5 or 6 minutes yet to the kick-off. You have all the handshakes, you have the national anthem, you give your waves, as we said, to your friends and family up in the stands. So there's still more.
Even seasoned and outwardly calm observers, this is a very emotional day. Thoughts of this stadium and all it represents. Thoughts of a traditional rivalry that is about to be renewed after the national anthems. also for players who aren't usually aware of the history they are about to shape, but they are this afternoon in both camps. So how will the emotion, will it strengthen or will it sap their best efforts in a match which is a key to the future? England about to embark on a World Cup campaign that hopefully will end with a place in Japan/South Korea in less than 2 years' time. Germany have already started, played 1-1 in this Group 9. And the guest of honour, as he was for the last club game here in August, the Charity Shield, His Royal Highness the Duke of York. And involved today, Tony Adams, appropriately. He's the man who's played more official games here than anyone else. It's his 60th appearance on what used to be called the hallowed turf. And last time, Bobby Robson, I'm sure, will have been feeling similar emotions, former England manager. Well, let's confirm the team news for you. And from France away 5 weeks ago, 4 changes. 2 different fullbacks. Gary Neville on the right for the injured Sol Campbell. Graham Lasso has made an excellent comeback with Chelsea, and his seniority edges out Gareth Barry. Gareth Southgate got this late and surprising call into midfield when Steven Gerrard's injury jinx struck again. Darren Anderton is out of contention. Dennis Wise relegated to the bench. And Kevin Keegan wanting to send out positive messages to his players and England supporters by selecting 2 forwards this time. Michael Owen forcing himself into the 11th.
Well, we all wondered whether Kevin Keegan would change his system. He has done that. He's kept the back 4 intact, different players, but there's a back 4 and David Seaman in there. No doubt that Gary Neville, for me, and Lasso will be asked to push forward a lot more in this game, because ahead of that, he's anchoring Gareth Southgate in front of the 2 centre-backs. He might even form a 3rd centre-back at times, depending how the game goes. Beckham and Bambi will tuck in. They have to, in my opinion, in this system, to get the ball and get involved. Paul Scholes attacking from his favourite area to supplement Owen and Cole. Now, if their movement is as good as it can be, and the supply they get is as good as it can be, then that could be the key for England today.
Rudi Voller's first changes in his 3rd game in charge of Germany. Heinrich and Zickler not fit to travel. Today's news, the massive Bayern Munich striker Carsten Janker out with a toe injury. Thomas Linker of Bayern Munich comes in at the back. Liverpool's Didi Hamann comes into midfield with Scholl pushed further forward. And Janker out, but it does enable Oliver Bierhoff, Germany's captain, to come back into the fold. The Twin Towers look down on a fitting finale in this legendary sporting venue. A friendly between these 2 nations would have been set up for this occasion, but fate, in the shape of the World Cup draw, stepped in. So it's England and Germany with the added spice of qualification points at stake. Take a good look. This will be the last time. Germany in white, England in red, shades of 66 and all that, and a very treacherous playing surface. They've been doing their best, the ground staff, to mop up the water. The weather here, talk about the end for Wembley, it's almost been like the end of the world.
Conditions could be bad today, man. I hope it doesn't turn into a little bit of a farce out there with the amount of water, not only that's falling on the pitch, but is falling on the pitch. Just quickly, the Germans, as we thought, 3 at the back. Novotny will act as a sweeper with Linker and the Reimer either side of him. 2 wide players in Boda left, Teisler right, 3 central, and Ballack Hamann and Ramelow, and of course Mehmet Scholl. I think will play off Bierhoff. I don't think we'll see Scholl go too high at the pitch level with him too often.
Andy Cole, one of 4 players from Manchester United involved today, 3 from Arsenal. Michael Owen from Liverpool, pressing forward for England. And there's a player from each of the clubs that contested the final FA Cup final here. It's Gareth Southgate of Aston Villa and Graham Lasso of Chelsea.
I have to say, Mark, that was half a chance, you know, whether the conditions, it's early in the game, but if Michael Owen could only have gotten control of that. David Beckham had made a wonderful supporting run, was absolutely free, just to his right, couldn't be found with the ball. Gareth Southgate's getting himself around Mehmet Shaw when he drops off Bierhoff. And that might be one of the reasons why.
Another one, Andy, is that he's tall, and this is a big German side. That certainly gave Southgate an edge over Dennis Wise, who was the other candidate to take up that position. Steven Gerrard would have played had he been fit. Here's Adams and Beckham.
It is a massive side. I wondered that when I looked along the line there when both teams were standing for their national anthem. They looked absolute giants. But this is where it's important. Movement of Cole and Owen. Crossing down the sides, I think particularly early on in these conditions. Even a ball like that might not look anything like, but it gets the German defence turning, it gets them running towards their own goal.
It's actually stayed in play, I think, and Gary Neville's picked it up. It's not going to be seen as handball against the England right back.
It is. But he obviously got it, gone out.
Italian officials today, the referee Stefano Braschi. Shot. Shoulder to shoulder with Barmby, epitomising really the contest here. Neville. Beckham. Beckham's early ball, Scholes on the same wavelength. Ramelow trying to match the movement of the Manchester United man. Scholes gets it across, out by Novotny. Southgate and Beckham keeping Germany on the back foot. Lassau's cross. Header by Linker. Very tense early minutes here at Wembley. Bierhoff, they call him Mr. Wembley in Germany because of what he did in that final of Euro 96 when he stepped from the bench, stepped from obscurity to score the 2 goals that made Germany European champions here in England.
Well, I think England started exactly the way we would have liked them to, Martin. A quick tempo to their game, trying to put the Germans under pressure. Make no mistake, I talked about the Germans earlier being high in confidence. They will be more confident. But I watched the game against the Greeks, and Greece carved out chance after chance in that match, and they don't possess the quality finishers that England do. I think if they can get at the Germans early on, that might well be the best way. Germans are holding a high line, I've noticed as well, and I don't think Andy Cole and Michael Owen will be too disappointed to see that. They're very, very quick, the England duo up top, and if they get in behind, they're going to take some catching.
Well, the Test cricketers have done their bit this summer. Our Olympians have been splendid in Sydney and are rightly represented here today. Now is the chance for the footballers to add to the feel-good factor that success in international competition can bring to everyday life for us all. A win today offers no guarantee on World Cup qualification, but it would be one heck of a good start. Oliver, who's the goalkeeper, beaten twice by Manchester United in the Champions League final of '99. He was the goalkeeper beaten by Alan Shearer in Charleroi in June in what turned out to be a rather hollow victory for England. Novotny, the successor as sweeper to Mateus, and moving forward, Ramelow's pass. Novotny's kept going. Ballack, the number 6, trying to get it down, and they have done, Germany. Here's Deisler. It's a deep cross, and it's dropped behind. Happily for David Seaman, who wins his 61st cap today. That puts him equal with the England goalkeeping coach, Ray Clements.
We're talking about goalkeepers, I think, early on in this match. It's the last thing I'm sure both coaches would have been saying. Anyone who gets a chance, particularly early on in this football match, 25, 30 yards from goal, and you get a sight of it, then pull the trigger. Any shot today will take some dealing with. I mean any type of shot at all.
Palmer, who's played here for Newcastle in an FA Cup final. This is Linker. Away by Lasso, Zameda Terrific return to the Chelsea first team after almost 11 months out with injury. That's earned him a place today in this historic game. Ramelow. Ballack. And just a touch away from Bierhoff by Martin Keough. Collected here by Boda. Bierhoff repositioning in the centre, but the cross doesn't come in. Gary Neville sees to that.
Well, Bierhoff's having a look at the lines when he's indicating his jersey was pulled there just prior to the ball arriving. I'm afraid this goes on so much, but it was only 6 inches away from dropping plumb on his forehead.
Scholl can't keep it in.
Now this is a super ball in. He wraps his foot round it. You see Martin Keough and Adams. They get the positions. That's a vital header. Vital header.
Ballack, one of the East Germans in the squad, and it's 9 years earlier this week. Germany celebrating the anniversary of unification. Strangely, at a time where there's not much unity in their football with the Christoph Daum situation. That's Ballack using the wetness on the pitch to slide in, but catching Neville as he did so. The referee didn't stop the game.
I'd say it wasn't a great ball from Tony Adams. That's what we call a hospital ball, a real red X, and it was there to be challenged for and surface like today. I think the referee might have to take conditions into consideration quite often, Mark, when challenges are being made.
Novotny surveying the Wembley scene with the ball at his feet. Boda, who's a very versatile player, was in the Euro 96 party as a defender, played up front for Werder Bremen against Arsenal in the UEFA Cup last season. He's on the left today, and there's no place for Christian Ziege, now of Liverpool, once of Middlesbrough, in the starting lineup. Boda has got the place that he was competing for. Keough, born in 1966, actually during the World Cup finals.
I wonder whether the Germans would actually go man for man, Martin, at the back and follow Owen and Cole. They haven't done that at all. Blinkerstein, left side of Novotny, and Remmer the other side. Just playing areas rather than players.
Infringement on Scholl, who on Monday had virtually ruled himself out of this game. He stayed in Munich, got some specialist advice from the Bayern medical team, and then arrived later than the rest of his teammates to prove his fitness. Cole, using good body strength. He's got Lasso on the gallop down the left-hand side. Beckham joining Owen in the centre. So just trying to anticipate where that might drop. For Novotny's head, he was a bit unlucky. Scholes. Ramelow dogging his footsteps.
And that's why first touch is so important today. We saw Graham Lasso. Nice little ball from Tony Adams. Normal conditions, he would have controlled it, I'm sure, quite comfortably, but it just got away from him. There's like a bar of soap, the football. The rain is still hammering down.
At the moment, the ball is still zipping around the pitch, but we do fear that the water table beneath the surface must rise.
Well, it's a striker's football pitch, I would call it, Mark, because defenders know that the footing has got to be so assured. Any little slip and, you know, you'd be ready to pounce.
Hamann. This is Deisler, who scored against Greece in the Germany's opening game in this group. Hamann. Bierhoff going to the near post, said Deisler can't supply from the right because Graham Lasso got the block in.
And working the ball quite well, the Germans, particularly down that right-hand side.
No doubt that Rudi Völler, a legendary figure in German football, has restored a lot of pride to the national team players by standards, they were awful in Euro 2000. Amidst the rumours of bickering, not very much together now. Beckham. Scholes can't pick out anyone ahead of him. Boda does to Ballack. Southgate catches Bierhoff.
No problem, like that unfussy referee, wasn't it? He's given a free kick. One or two might argue, but he's quite calm about the whole thing. Just catches Bierhoff, not a doubt about that.
Biding his time. Bierhoff is the obvious target. Southgate makes sure the ball doesn't travel that far. Boda. Easy movement from Scholl. Boda looking to link up with him. Keown rather comfortably across, really. And Scholes closed down by Ballack.
That's where you talk about the height and the strength, Mark, being an advantage when they muscle in front. With England midfield players, when you look along at David Beckham, Scholes and Bambi, although they're physically strong, when you're conceding 4 or 5 inches in some respects for these players, when they get the body in front of you, German players, very difficult to shift them.
It's Hamann! Didi Hamann has caught out David Seaman and England. He didn't really hide his intentions, but the ball just zipped into England's net.
Well, I can't believe this. The first thing you do in conditions like this, put someone in front of the ball, go back slowly. I told you any shot would be tough to handle. Any shot at all on this surface. That's not a greatly difficult shot for David Seaman, but it hits the ground just in front of him. It skips up and spins off his gloves. But I do believe, Mark, that a red shot should have been stood no more than 2 or 3 yards in front of that ball until such time as England players were ready. They were a little bit sloppy, a little bit asleep. Goalkeeper wasn't ready. Full marks for Hamann, full marks for spotting it.
Hamann with a previous Premiership goal past Seaman to his credit in his Newcastle days. But this is on much the bigger stage. And England, just as in the World Cup final of 1966, have conceded the first goal at a pretty similar time as well. Can they come up with a similar response?
Well, it's very important that they clear their heads, in particular don't panic. There's a long, long time to go in this football match, far from over. But this has made it very, very difficult. You see David Seaman, he's way, way back on his line. Now, whether that was because he was attempting to arrange some sort of wall, but he was right back on his goal line. You know, dealing with a shot from the type of area where normally, Mark, there would be bread and butter for the goalkeeper. I have to say I'm surprised, almost 15 minutes in and we hadn't seen a shot on target. We hadn't even seen an attempt.
He recognised the possibility. The Liverpool player hit it hard and true, and it kept on skimming. Boda. Bierhoff was onside from Ballack's pass.
Almost, wasn't he? Almost. Lovely position Oliver Bierhoff took there in between the England centre-backs. But England must just keep having self-belief, popping the ball about, not panicking an awful lot. Because they will get a chance in this match. I cannot believe that you can go through a match like this with the conditions the way they are and not either carve a chance out for yourself or a mistake give you a chance.
Andy Cole, who's not scored a senior goal at Wembley. This is his 13th game. Something might drop for him here. Adams has come forward. Beckham to take the free kick. Southgate looking to get free in the centre. It's nowhere near deep enough for England. Back by Lasso. Germany had pushed out. Qualifier Cam for Sky Digital viewers, channel 404. We'll focus for the next 15 minutes on Michael Owen. Here's Barman. Lasso. Rayner easily across. England's throw.
That's where movement's so important. When England have possession in the edge of the last third, maybe 35-40 yards from goal, that there is movement ahead.
Scholes. Good anticipation by Shaw. Ballack, athletic and energetic in Germany's midfield. Deisler, only 20 years old. His cross, this time again looking for a tall player in the centre. It was Boda that time again. Keown just got enough of a deflection. It's Martin Keown in again with a header for England.
Take the pick when you say tall player, Martin, there. Because they know that when they get it wide, the Germans, and they toss it in, if they can get one of those 5 supporting midfield players into the box alongside Bierhoff, then they've got a real chance of getting on the end of it.
Shaw, Ballack, Karamalo, and Bierhoff flags up.
Flags up. Oh, what was Graham Lashaw's position like? Might have been close, this. Might have just drifted off. Very close. You see Graham Lashaw just tucked behind, but that's a pretty good spot from the linesman. Absolutely right.
Southgate, pressed by Bierhoff. Here's Scholes. Adams. England a goal behind. Germany, the tall team, have taken the low road into the lead. Cole. Well, the defender who's trying to get into trouble here is Marco Roma.
Well, it's taken a piece of brilliance, an individual piece from Andy Cole to actually get England moving forward positively. What a chance. Only one thing I'd say to David Beckham: work the goalkeeper. Work the goalkeeper. Hit the target and follow it in. Cole follow it, Barnby follow it, Owen follow it, whoever you like, but follow this ball in.
If ever England needed David Beckham to find the range from an international free kick, it's now. Well, he gets it on target, but Oliver Kahn was very confident of the direction it was coming in. Angle there between Adams and Ballack, but the referee scored even. Owen. Barnby darting into the centre. Cole's already there. Sliding across was Novotny. Referee was unsure, and he's taken advice from his assistant.
Well, Michael Owen was too honest there, Mark. There's absolutely no doubt if he'd have shifted that 80 yards up the pitch, and this was Oliver Bierhoff going on this, he would have been down in a heap after that tackle. Michael Owen tried to do his best to jump it and jump up quickly. Didn't get that advantage. Should have been a free kick. It's a goal kick.
Germany have never lost an away game in a World Cup qualifying scenario. It's an extraordinarily impressive record. And England have got to try and dent here and break if they're going to fully enjoy Wembley's final day. They're a goal down, a bad start. Cole.
Unlucky.
The movement's been good from Cole.
Unlucky. The right thing, stretched them. Look at the link up. A little unlucky. Wembley has seen many, many awesome appearances, Mark, inspired performances. And I think England are going to need one of those awe-inspiring performances if they're going to win this game.
Owen. Much made of the switch to red shirts. The players, I understand, very keen on that. Some market research done by the Football Association with the fans as well. Red was right for this game. And so far, it's white that's shining in the lead. Beckham. Dispossessed by Boda, who's got plenty of attacking ability. He's ahead of Ballack. Mehmet Scholl just dropping into midfield, as he likes to do.
It's been a good outball for them, that, Matt. From centre to right side, and they've been able to build it comfortably, the Germans.
Scholl, Bierhoff.
He might get a free kick there. Yeah.
Obstruction by Southgate.
Little give and go. That's been good for them. You might have to just anchor Nicky Bambino at times, Matt, early on in this game. Just say, okay, don't wander too far from the left-hand side.
Well, getting the wall set quicker this time. That particular horse may well have bolted.
Well, do you think they're having a shot? He's not a German player anywhere near the 18-yard box.
I think Keown's gone back on the post.
Mehmet Scholl has spotted that.
Scholl's often involved in the free kicks himself, but not this time. The left footer is Boda.
Oh, that's a long 10 yards, that.
Set up from Ramelow. For Harman, for Boda. There was a touch along the way, and it's a corner to Germany, halfway through the first half.
You see what the difference is, Martin, in conditions like this. Again, it's not the best struck shot in the world, but as soon as it hits the ground, it's skipping and gathering pace. Might well have gone wide of the post on its own, but David Seaman taking no chances whatsoever.
Shot. Tidy control in the circumstances. Cross, and David Seaman happy to claim that. And look to release Cole. Novotny has got the Manchester United man in his sights and the ball as well. And then getting men around that situation quickly without stabilising it. And Andy Cole,
That'll be a booking.
gets booked for flattering into the back of Mehmet Scholl.
Yeah, well, he's given him almost 25 minutes, the referee. He has been, I think, taking it easy, not keen to flourish a card, but Andy, I don't think he's got cause for complaint there. Late, in from behind.
Boda. Well, I suppose David Seaman talks about his worst Wembley memory, which was Paul Gascoigne with a free kick at that end of the stadium in an FA Cup semi-final. Didi Hamann has been his torturer today.
Having sat here for this year for both of those free kicks, I know which one would be more difficult to save, and it wasn't today's.
Headed by Linker. Ballack. Germany have actually won their last 4 games at Wembley, 3 against England and the Euro 96 final against the Czech Republic. Over a much shorter period, of course. England have won only once in their last 4 outings here. Keown. Neville. Scholes. More Manchester United down at England's right-hand side with Beckham and Neville. as well. And here's Boda. Mopping up is the right word today.
Yeah, that was good confident play. Lovely little build-up. Nice little trio. Beckham, Scholes and Neville down this right-hand side.
Kieran's cross. Lasso strikes it. With a Wembley goal to his name, and a fine one too, against Brazil more than 5 years ago now.
Not unlike this, was it? Another high looping shot. But that's worth a chance. It was there to be hit. It's dropping on the volley at him. A little bit pressure he's under. Nothing wrong with trying that. That's the biggest disappointment at the moment, I think, for England would be that they haven't made the goal, apart from David Beckham's free kick. I wouldn't call that work. But they haven't made Oliver Kahn work at all, Martin. Just about half an hour of this match.
Adams. Oh man. One of the players brought in by Rudy Fuller today. And he's justified that selection already. Boda. Plenty in there for Germany. Bierhoff might just have diverted away from Deisler. Cole. Lasso asking Michael Owen to chase that, but he's hit it too long, even for Owen's acceleration.
Well, I think the change Carsten Janker forced upon the Germans, Martin, has actually worked in their favour. No doubt about that. I don't know whether Rudy Fuller would have chosen Janker and Bierhoff, but certainly his inclusion of Hamann in the opening half hour of this match has been inspired, hasn't it? He's helped the midfield. It's made it difficult for England to find gaps, to control the football, if you like. And on top of that, well, good piece of opportunism.
Ballack. Here's Hamann again. Ramelow. Deisler. He's drawn out of the centre. Just to prevent the corner. Surely looked like it deflected England's way for the throw.
Yeah, it did. They looked to play offside earlier in the move, Martin. They were deeper than Tony in the middle.
Ballack making an extra man in there. He's another 6-footer. And no surprise that our player cam now switches to Didi Hamann. The Sky Digital viewers, channel 404. Boda, chased by Beckham. Holds off David Beckham. Illustrating the power Germany put into this opening half an hour.
The change of play was on for the Germans as well. If only Boda would have spotted way on the right side. Sebastian Deisler's movement could easily have found him. Then England would really have been stretched.
The ball was in the air a long time, and the flag was raised. Oliver Kahn's clearance. Lasso. They say they haven't got many young players coming through, the Germans, but Deisler is one. Plays for Hertha Berlin.
Well, 7 of those outfield 10, looking at my notes, Martin, are under 30, and a lot of the mid-20s and below, so not an awful lot of cause for concern about their ages. That's good covering.
Ballack. And being pursued by Southgate. Another pressure by England. Germany in possession, but they can't stop the ball being spread by Novotny to Hamann. He's seen an outlet again in Rema. Botany confident enough to go into midfield from the sweeping roll. Bierhoff. England being moved around at the moment on their own famous turf.
The Germans have worked the ball better in the first half hour of this match. Not a doubt about that.
Adams. Barnby on the left of the diamond midfield formation. Kevin Keegan started with.
Tony Adams just kept going, Mark. He's in there right there. Back
This is Andy Cole. Out comes Khan. And he was helped there by some good play by Luca, really, just to hold off Cole's attempt to quicken and get in behind.
Well, I talked about service to the front two being important. It hasn't been great to Cole, I know, in all honesty, Martin, but whenever Andy Cole has had the ball, whether it's been in that area or outside it, he's been the one who's looked most likely. That's twice he's spun in behind the Germans, threatening them.
Novotny. Bierhoff. So having to play on the retreat. Harassed by Deisler. 16 months since he last played for England, Graham Musso. Shaw. Alex got into the centre again. Harman. This is Boda. Ballack, bit of a slip by Keown. Allowed Ballack to get a foot in. And he goes. Scholes responsible for that. It's certainly within range.
You better believe it, it's within range. You take your pick here. There's one or two who fancy this.
Particularly Scholl, I think, this time, because it's more to his side, favouring the right footer.
Well,
he is to Germany what Beckham is to England.
If it needs a bit of curl and a bit of accuracy, yes, I think you're absolutely right. If there's a bit of power called for, then the number 10 there, deep man of man, certainly there. And as Martin Keown is trying to sneak back on the post again, but that does encourage, there you go, encourage his opponents to go in there in front of the goalkeeper.
Young goes back. And a cat and mouse at the moment. But it's certainly Mehmet Scholl. And David Seaman has been watching the videos. Scholl scored into that part of the goal in Germany's first game of this season against Spain.
Yeah, that much like David Beckham's, wasn't it, Mark? A comfortable one for the goalkeeper to take, no real problem.
Neville. Southgate. Much is made of Kevin Keegan's splendid personality, and rightly so. He's a great motivator. But there are some tactical challenges here, where the midfield diamond will be forever in this game. We must wait and see. With England not in the ascendancy territorially or on the scoreline, with 35 minutes played at Wembley.
Or with possession either. And I think the difference for me, certainly since against France, was England had a lot of possession, used it well, and haven't been able to influence the game in the way they would have liked. The Germans have grown in confidence for me, Mark. I thought they looked edgy in the opening 5 or 10 minutes, but when you look at that, that's testimony to the way I think they've grown in confidence, and they're happy to pop the ball out now. The Germans know they don't have to go searching for a goal. Another chance comes along, then Rudy Fowler's team knows, and that's fine.
Remember, Germany led by a man with no coaching experience until he took on this position. A terrific goal scorer in his playing days, 47 international goals for Germany. He never played here, probably just as well. Rousseau. And Andy Cole gets a header on target for England.
Well, it would have taken a pretty special header from there, coming away from goal.
It's a good battle, Adams and Bierhoff. Now, Andy, do you remember nearly signing Bierhoff for Aston Villa?
Was that about 10 years ago? Yeah. Not a bad player, I suppose, was it? We actually did sign one of the current German squad.
Stefan Beinlich.
Correct. I think he was about 18 at the time.
That was great judgment.
Well,
he was certainly nowhere near the international setup, and he's on the bench here today. But Bierhoff might have done you better.
Fair enough.
He was with at Ascoli then. He's a player didn't make a mark in his own country. Harman. Beckham. And Novotny's out of position here. And England have got the ball, and Beckham works it to Graham the Sub. Equaliser before half-time would be uplifting for the majority of the assembled gathering here. And many more of you watching at home.
It was very tight there, wasn't it? Gareth Southgate, who was really threading a ball through the wall. Must have been close to 10, 15 players trying to find a way through.
Barmby. Cole makes a run. They're so supporting on the outside. Owen slipped as the ball came within range. Linker got in.
Big finish required to approach the last 5 minutes of the first half from England. A little bit of pressure. Said it before, I don't think the Germans are brilliant defensively, Martin, put under a bit of pressure. England just haven't been able to do that first half.
So seen as a push by Barmby on Rema.
Cheap free kick, isn't it? We got them pinned in there.
Owen has been kept under wraps so far by Germany's best defensive efforts. Harman. He's spotted a pass there, made possible by Novotny's movement from the back line. Deisler. This is Novotny, the sweeper. The successor to Mateus with that sort of movement. Now, have they got cover at the back, though, Germany? And they won't need it at the moment because Boda gets it back for the visitors in home territory. Ballack. Deisler. Ramelow, Bierhoff offside.
Well, that's the one thing when you talk about playing a free, that when England do try and do it, that they haven't got Jens Novotny, Martin, that can step forward in the way that he does and influence the play, not only in the last third but in the attacking third as well. They do work it well, the Germans, but it's a system they've played for, well, as long as I can remember. So they're well versed in it, not new to them.
Cole has had little supply and has worked hard to try and be a focal point at the sharp end, but isn't so far sharp enough for Kevin Keegan's team. On Wednesday, Sky Sports 1, World Cup qualifier, Republic of Ireland against Estonia. You can see that with us. We start at 7. And Derby v Liverpool, and maybe Didi Hamann again Sunday the 15th, a week tomorrow. Sky Sports 1, Sky Sports Extra. For the Premiership fair. The slow slips, Scholl on the move. Supported by Deisler. Possibilities here for Germany. Ramelow! It's a greasy ball for David Seaman, but he kept that well within his grasp. Bierhoff was around.
Awkward one to hit, you know, when it came back to Ramelow. He's having a little word with Deisler, Martin. There was a little bit too much pace in it. He did well to control it on target. You just wonder, 4 minutes, less than that to go officially of this half. Kevin thinking 1-0 down, no real threat. Is he thinking of making a change? If it stays like this to half-time, of course, a goal for England would change. All of those sorts of thoughts. We'll be hoping it comes.
Southgate. Lassau's cross. And, again, the German height advantage is palpable. Ballack. Oh, that's
wayward.
a rarity, isn't it?
Wayward.
They haven't been that kind to England very often in the 42 minutes. Kevin Keegan, very much a popular figure still in Germany, where he made a great impact during his playing days with Hamburg. Southgate. Owen. A bit static ahead of Scholes, and he has to go back to Adams. Beckham. Cole drew the foul from Lincoln. And Beckham's had a look and seen Tony Adams, and Adams gets in, and Khan has to go into a full dive to stop the skipper equalising close to half-time.
Yeah, I told you sometimes mistakes can get you a chance, and Novotny's loss of footing there was vital in Adams getting across him. Well, they had a 2v1 situation. He wasn't favourite. Novotny looked to me as if he was just going to clear this. He stumbled, lost his footing. Even a header, Mark, even a header when it hits the ground. Look at this spin up and really shoot off the surface. That's what made the save difficult for Oliver Kahn.
Germany's Footballer of the Year last season. Made the most capable stop. Tony Adams, incidentally, at the moment, the scorer of the last England goal at Wembley against Ukraine. Barmby. Shaw almost able to intercept. Scholes. Here's Hamann. Germany are enjoying the occasion here.
Well, they'll quite happily take as long as they can with virtually only stoppage time lying ahead.
Beckham puts in a defensive header. Beckham again. Control pass to Graham Lassau. Cole has gone left. Novotny with him, and Andy Cole fancies his feet against Jens Novotny. And again, the circumstances in which this match is being played, and the greasy top allowing Novotny to use the slide to make up the ground. Adams.
Well, it's 1 minute only, Mark, of stoppage time. That's what he's done well, Hamann, as well, Mark. Not only has he passed the ball well, I think, Didi Hamann, but he's got back in front of the back three, if you like, and formed a pretty good barrier. And when one of the three go forward, and the three of them do go forward at various times, not just a sweeper, Hamann just has a little look, anchors himself there.
Owen trying to dart in behind Raymer, and he's done that. Only time for one last England attack before half-time. Southgate. Owen running into some traffic though. Lassau's cross hung up as Kahn comes with the fist. Helped on by Boda. That was an important touch for Germany. And it brings the first half to a close. And it hasn't been the first half that Kevin Keegan was hoping for. A player who earns his living here in England has spoilt the scenario so far. Didi Hamann with quick thinking and a zippy free kick.
Shearer, would you make any other changes?
Well, I'm sure he'll see how it goes first. We're putting Keane, I'm positive they'll give us a little bit more width on the right. Maybe he might opt to go for that on the left as well, with Graham Lassau on the left. He's tried to give us width at times, but it hasn't quite worked yet.
Poor old Gareth Southgate, there's bound to be some focus of attention on his performance. How has he done?
Well, I don't think he can do any more. He's doing his best as he can. It's very difficult in there when you get the ball because of the lack of width we have. It all seems to be within 20 or 30 metres with everyone. There is no width, so he can't spray any balls out wide. It's very tight and congested in there.
It's time for the second half of the World Cup qualifier. England against Germany, a Sky Sports production, available in widescreen, Dolby surround sound and interactive, where there's stats, highlights, full screen camera angles, player cam and fan zone, of course, this season. That's for Sky Digital viewers on channel 404. 1-0 to Germany here. Let's rejoin Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Well, thank you, Richard. Little time to concentrate on the glories of the past here at Wembley because of the emergencies of the present situation. Kieran Dyer sent on. He's been a useful substitute for England in the past. He was in France, you might recall, only 5 weeks ago when he set up an equaliser then for Michael Owen. England in need at the very least of an equaliser here.
Well, it's like a bottle of pop, I would call him that. You take the top off and you send him out there and you see how he's going to fizz. But it's now like for like as far as England are concerned. We've now gone with Gareth Southgate, left side of Tony Adams, Martin Keown right, and then you see Graham Lasso and Kieran Dyer. Well, I think try and push Boda and Deisler back as far as they can. And then they've got to mix up these three in midfield. I think that's been the key. Balak, Kaman and Ramelow have enjoyed too much and too comfortable possession at times. Now, 3 against them in there now for the whole of this 45. They might be able to break up the German confidence, the German possession, and have a bit of this game themselves.
Keown. Now Beckham. A touch from Owen. Supported by the eagerness of Kieran Dyer for England. Cole. Saw that coming, an attempt to sit the ball in behind Germany then. Been precious little of that in the first half. Germany more comfortable with their team plan than England were, and the diamond wasn't forever, was it? It lasted until half-time. Keown. Beckham, well, he let it run, but surely not on a call because Owen was rather standing and admiring rather than anticipating.
Well, I think you'll have to try things like that, Martin. Something unexpected, something less than predictable, just to open up the German defence.
Keown. It's great to see the Olympic heroes on at half-time. We shouldn't forget that this was an Olympic stadium back in 1948. It is better from England. And Cole, after the combination there between Dyer and Owen.
Great defending from Raymer Martin, absolutely top quality. Cole was in. Yeah, that was so important, that defending. That's the best piece of football England have played in the match.
Bierhoff uses his height to defend the corner. Beckham. Let's get a word from our touchline reporter Claire Tomlinson. Claire.
Well, some bad news, Martin. Jens Novotny came off at half-time. Reckons he was hit by a missile thrown from the crowd. He had a bad cut on the top of his forehead, which he's had to have half-time treatment for. So bad news if a missile's come from the England fans.
Well, we'll try and keep you up to date with that situation as the afternoon develops. This is Jens Novotny.
Yeah, you can see that mark there.
Just below the hairline.
Better, though, for England, Martin. Much better. Positive start. In all fairness, though, they started the first half pretty positively as well.
Well, we were expecting the red arrows to fly past at half-time. It's been called off because of the dismal weather. Dismal is the word so far. Maybe England can find a red arrow of their own. At the end, they're attacking here. Keogh. Scholes. Germany defending from the front through Bierhoff, but he gives away the free kick and England waste it.
Well, he's trying to keep the pace up, nothing wrong with that. It's disappointing that he didn't find the target. He was looking for Michael Owen, but he was right to try and keep the tempo of the game high. Germans were so comfortable, man, first half, particularly in possession of the ball.
Adams. Germany holding a line up the pitch again, no space for Owen to break into, so he comes deep to try and influence the play. Michael Owen just trying to get himself into the game, you sense.
Well, one big positive sign I've noticed in the first 5 minutes, David Beckham's influence centrally. He's starting to just pop little passes, probe for little gaps in the armour, and he's found one or two. I just worry about him. It just looks like he might just be carrying a little knock, Martin, which was made of, what is it, a bad knee he had?
Yes, the left knee was supposed to be maybe 5% down on par, and he was very confident that that wouldn't affect his performance today. Maybe something that he's picked up in the bruising of the battle so far.
Well, he's definitely carrying it. There's no doubt about that as he trots across field.
Lasso. Still plenty of time though for England, and Germany, although they've played very confidently here, are not a side so solid in their makeup that an equaliser wouldn't faze them. Now Lasso with some tugging with Deisler. Deisler falling theatrically. The free kick's gone England's way, and Lasso says get up to his young opponent. The referee really with the same message as well.
There was a bit of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other here. There was quite a lot of it going on.
Maybe just a slamming together accidentally of the heads. Deisler wanted to make a lot of it. Boda. It's a rather slack one from Novotny, but it still reached its target, Harman. And he's picked a decent pass to Scholl. England backpedaling against Mehmet Scholl. Pushed out by Seaman, and Bierhoff, if anything, was a bit too close for Germany then. If he'd been a yard further back, he might have had an unguarded goal to guide the ball into.
Oh, what a save that is, Martin. What a save. Brilliant, brilliant skill from Mehmet Scholl. And that save has certainly kept England in this match. Absolutely top draw. Might have been at fault at the free kick from Haman, but look at this, the skill. Not one, but two England defenders left in his wake. Low to his left quickly. What a save.
A strong left arm from David Seaman, particularly to help out Martin Keogh. And Mehmet Scholl had left him.
Well, there's a booking here. There's a Ballack. Looked like Ballack. Yeah, got the card for wasting time, are they suggesting?
Ballack came into this game with a caution to his name. Now, there's a suspension coming up from Germany's next game. It's not until March, when they are home to Albania. Here's Dyer. England, of course, play on Wednesday in Finland. Always a tricky fixture, and even more so if England can't fight their way out of this tight corner today. Southgate for Barmby.
That was a tough ball. Nicky Barmby looks for there.
It's a shrewd ball from Harman. Typical of his performance. Ballack. Weirhoff trying to stay onside. He hasn't been able to do that.
Referee had a little look at the lines, didn't Mark? I think he was going to give a free kick in Ballack's favour there. The flag not going up.
Tugging away at Scholes' shirt then, and that certainly is a free kick to England. Scholes so often saves his goals for the big games. He scored 10 for England and only one of those in a friendly. He's looking to get into the box here. The So's cross. Ramelow. Southgate. Lancing header from Barmby, but Beckham can't get back onto the ball from it.
Footmark's thing with him, I have to say. Germans look a little ragged for me now. Less composure. A lot of it's to do, all of it's to do with the changes made. The three in the centre of midfield are now contesting and getting the ball. And Graham Lasson, in particular Kieran Dyer, have now pushed Boda and Dysler right back into defensive positions. Whereas first half, Boda and Dysler were more of a concern at the other end of the pitch.
Southgate much more comfortable, you sense, in the role in a back three. And this is, well, that's a good step forward for England.
You look at the possession that England enjoyed in the opening 10 minutes. Dominant.
Here's Cole. And off the boot belonging to Raymer. Bierhoff. Watch out, England, for the counter-attack. That's Harman again, spreading the ball around the dimensions of Wembley with a great sense of geometry. There he is again, making sure that his team keep possession, something that they've not found so easy to do in the second half. They have threatened once through Scholl. He looks to unhinge England again.
Oh, that must be a free kick. Oh dear, Tony. Two square on. Somebody like Mehmet Shaw, he's just skipped past Tony Adams. He knew he was struggling. The England skipper, he gets square on here instead of showing him one way, and he really is struggling to do anything other than that.
England have bought themselves a bit of organisational time at this free kick. They've still got to deal with it. This is Boda charging down with the responsibility for Scholes. And he did not flinch. Scholl. An easy one to take on this greasy top. It's a mishit ball. Raymer. This comes Keown, done by Southgate. And pulling the strings again. Novotny.
I'm really surprised at that free kick, Martin. Direct free kick, and yet the Germans are pretty keen to move it, shift the ball. What that does do is gives the charging player, which is Paul Scholes, of course, for England, the chance to get within 4 or 5 yards of it. I'm really surprised that in conditions like they are today, that they're not just striking direct free kicks.
Barmby. Owen. Couldn't get away. It's Linker who interrupted his progress. Scholes quickly on the scene, and England well represented further forward here. Beckham! Well, they obviously swerved, and Oliver Kahn up to a considerable task.
Yeah, it must have moved. It's only freezing conditions again, but this is another reason why David Beckham should play centrally for me, because he brings that sort of threat to an England side that no one else really does.
Scholes. Southgate getting in. What a thing it would be if he could get a goal today and exercise some personal ghosts. So Beckham is onside. England regrouping in the middle.
Good players forward.
It's another corner. Beckham thought it might have been blocked with an arm.
But it might have been, but the simple fact was he was too close a man with his block for a free kick to be given. But good delivery, important again.
England's starting to put some pressure on Germany. It's a disappointing corner, but Keown trying to rescue it. Harman again comes up with the answers, though. And now there are 4 breaking for Germany here against 3 for England. And
oh, what an awful choice of class
by Ballack.
Oh, and now England can break back on them.
Well, the flag has gone up against Michael Owen. Barmby was chasing, but the break was at the other end and looking very disconcerting for England's defenders, and there weren't many of them.
Well, I don't know whether he was looking for Deisler, who's on this near side. They've got 2v2 centrally, but beyond that, nearer the camera here, Deisler, you see him bottom of the screen, had gotten ahead of his marker, was flying in on any ball shoved across the face.
Half an hour to go at Wembley. Half an hour left of Wembley. This Wembley. Wonderful new stadium plan. We've got a long way to head before that's a reality. Harman again. Boda. Linker. Just a hopeful ball from Raymer, but Bierhoff looking to make more of it. Deisler. And now Ramelow. Ballack back post.
I'll tell you, Mark Keown just did enough, Mark. He had Mehmet Shaw, he had Ballack flying in on them. He did enough to stop the header.
Beckham letting it run. And moving on himself. And he's got away from Germany to be available to receive Scholes' pass.
Well defended. I tell you, link his position, Mark. It just made it impossible. Beckham wanted to find Cole, I felt, early. Link his position, just stopped that ball being available.
Scholes. And ball. Another player on the ground. Ramelow.
Well, it's a game on this. It's open. He's a little unlucky, Ramelow. He falls in it more than anything else. But I know, great opportunity again to hit the target. Got a chance now with it being central, David Beckham, of going either side of Oliver Kahn. It's up to him. Great chance for him now.
And for England at Wembley, you do feel it's long overdue.
Well, it would be his first, wouldn't it?
17th international on this ground. And it's gone slightly to the left, so there's plenty for Beckham to aim at, but he can't get it over the wall. He's saying it was a block by an arm inside the penalty area. England's penalty appeals waved away by the Italian referee Braschi. Beckham. Adams to head it into the danger area. England trying to fashion something more through weight of numbers as it dropped. A tigerish challenge between Lasso and Scholl. It's gone England's way. The free kick's taken quickly. Germany caught arguing. Beckham caught shooting. Not quite the dip. There was the whip. Just too high.
No, they wanted the free kick again. That could have gone either way, but England very alive, very alert. Almost through to the Germans. What the Germans did first half, a quick free kick. Never really threatening Oliver Kahn. But his influence in the game, David Beckham's, is rising and rising. And the Germans look less and less assured.
And here's Barmby for Cole. Linker the first defender. Cole. And Raymer in the right place. It's a very carefully fighted ball by Keown. Not quite the same for once from Beckham.
Almost though.
But you know, Andy, football here has fueled so many people's obsession of the game We've got a scenario now, a chance for England to write one final paragraph in the stadium, to come from behind. Kevin Keegan's been saying a draw would not be a bad result in the circumstances, and of course England would love to lead here on the ultimate high of beating Germany and getting the 3 points.
A draw wouldn't be a bad result now, would it?
Certainly would. And it's been a better second half showing from England, with a change of the tactical approach. And Barmby coming in from the left-hand side. Ballack only sliding the ball back to Owen.
It keeps coming back now, and that's good for England. The ball just keeps coming up the halfway line. Bierhoff and Shaw's influence is diminishing. I have to say, Mehmet Shaw does look a threat when he gets it. That would be my one cause for worry. That England can push forward, contest the Germans. The movement's better, the passing's much better, the threat is greater. Absolutely no doubt about that.
Cole working hard to make progress down that far touchline. Adams. Here's Dyer, second half substitute. Beckham. Southgate with a chance to come forward. Ramelow comes out to try and deny him some space. It's Southgate. And, many England fans would be willing that shot to go in and repay the awful agony he went through here in '96 at that end of the stadium as well. Playcam switches to Paul Scholes.
Well, they might be thinking footballing history owes him one. Why not? It has repaid often.
Scholl is all on his own. Backup comes from Ramelow though, and Deisler. And so is there Ramelow. Now Reimer. Ramelow again. Germany want to get back into that passing vein that impressed here in the first half, but it's Novotny who gives it away. And is grateful to get it back.
And that was sloppy and dangerous. Should have been made more of that break.
Well, that one as well, because Ballack was totally unattended and played the ball as though he was being immediately closed down.
Well, it's a sapping ground. It's the one thing we haven't, well, I've mentioned the conditions, but we haven't mentioned how salmon a sapping it is. Martin, Wembley is normally, but this heavy, you're now going into territory where fitness is going to play a big part in this match as well.
Hamann doesn't need too many second invitations to have a shot. He's looking for a second goal today. On the three-quarter mark of the match, it flies away for a corner.
He was a lovely striker of a ball. Beat Hamann and absolutely got to close him down edge of the box.
A lot of England's planning was about dealing with the danger that Germany posed at set pieces. They scored against Greece from a long throw in the opening game of the group. Seaman having to battle through the pack.
Great header from Keown. Great climb. Great claim.
Back where it started. It's another corner which will be on this near side. And then we've just left Andy Cole up the field, and Germany have two back marking him. But for the rest, it's duty and diligence in and around the England penalty area. Marco Bode scored for Bremen against Arsenal in the UEFA Cup last season with a header from a right-wing corner. Scholl takes this one at Wembley. Scholes picking out Cole to run on here with Novotny. Wait for Cole and for the rest of us was had the whistle gone.
It took a long time. The referee, I have to say. And that's the situation you want a defender under pressure, back towards his own goal, particularly when he's last defender, as in that case. I thought there was as much a loss of footing from Novotny as there was Andy Cole doing anything too much wrong.
A bit over-eager to try and get the ball back for England. A clear foul on Ballack. Charlton's in the stadium. He scored the most ever goals on this ground, 27 in all his appearances here. Alan Shearer in our studio, he managed 18. England to take a goal from anyone. He's out there in a red shirt in these circumstances with 20 minutes to go. Deisler. Tucked wide by Scholl. Boda. Adams saw that one coming. And Adams continues his movement forward. Beckham for Michael Owen. Oh, well, maybe that's as good as it's got for Michael Owen with the pass, and the touch was lacking when the defenders, for once, had melted away from him.
Well, at this level, Mark, you have to be assured. You have to make the most of it. Raymer's position is awful. Absolutely awful as a covering defender. Plays him onside. Michael Owen's one and only chance in 70 minutes of football. It was a simple take, and he was through with only the goalkeeper to beat.
Only the winners of the group automatically go through. The runners-up and into the playoff situation. Rudy Fowler, this novice coach, is staring at a scenario here which would be played to 1-2, and the biggest game in the group would be his if Germany can see it through with the last 20 minutes looming large. Boda. Scholl looking for an offside that they get.
It must have been close, but Scholl didn't want the ball. His hands were up. Saying to Boda, don't give me it, I know I'm offside.
Beckham. Lunkett trying to track Owen through the centre, I think conscious of Germany's good fortune with Michael Owen's lack of control a moment or two ago. But here goes Lasseau. Bierhoff. Scholl to the left. He's supported by Boda. Harman. Such draining conditions. And given the drama of the scenario here and the dismal nature of it from England's point of view, getting the ball back is a growing problem.
Well, even the simple fact of just kicking the ball unchallenged up the field from that penalty area that's getting worse by the minute, the German one, and that England can only get some ball in there. The players under pressure test the Germans' defensive skills and abilities on this surface. Something yet might drop for them in there.
Dyer for Barmby. Beckham. Pressure by Barmby, and he's squeezed it through in the end to Owen. Beckham. Barmby. Owen. And Cole. Barmby. Oh, he was looking for two arriving in the centre. It comes back from Southgate, but when it's up that high, you'd imagine that Khan would get there, but he didn't. It was Michael Owen who climbed, but he's going to be penalised for his challenge on the goalkeeper. But England were in as good a position, really, as they've come up with.
Well, if he gets picked out, Paul Scholes, and you felt he would score here. Again, the Germans looking less than composed. Nicky Barmby, I think, tries to find Paul Scholes. He had good options, back post with Graham Lasseau, central with Scholes, splitting them perfectly with the ball. A little unlucky. But there's uncertainty, you can see it, you can feel it, Martin, around the Germans.
Adams. And Phillips are the two backup strikers on the bench for Kevin Keegan. Keogh. Now Dyer. Novotny's header. It's Scholes. Ran away and Novotny was quick out to clear.
Conditions. Simple as that. Lovely dry day. Less rain than this. No doubt Paul Scholes would have controlled that closer to his body. Got the shot away.
Lasso. It's ambitious from Southgate. It's aimed behind Boda. Dyer trying to turn the length of the pass to England's advantage. For the last 15 minutes at Wembley Stadium, our player cam concentrates on David Beckham. Sky Digital Viewers channel 404.
Well, he has a decision to make now, Kevin. I'm sure he's about to make another change. I looked down, but I was just about to say he must be getting to that stage. Last 15 minutes. His players have worked extremely hard second half. It hasn't quite happened for them.
Ramelow. Mitchell is not 100% himself, but I'm sure Germany want to keep him on as long as possible because he can just hold the ball up, and he's already shown in producing the save from David Seaman in the second half. He is capable of more individual inspiration. Arman. It's a chase for Deisler.
Well, just looking at Graham Lasso, I see it's Gareth Barry who's ready. Graham Lasso is blowing a little bit below his mark. And this will be all about fitness. It's as simple as that. Graham Lasso short on games. I feel certain that will be the change. Straight swap.
Southgate. Still only 19. Gareth Barry. It is the change that Andy outlined for you. So the racist run for Graham Lasso today, but not for England. 13 minutes to go.
Well, he proved against the French at left back, Mark, that when he gets forward, he's got the quality. Gareth Barry, I'm sure that'll be his instructions. Nothing too much defensively except a little bit of cover, but get yourself forward, son. When the ball's right side, if you fancy getting in the box, using your height, then do so. Times like this, you'd be pushing on Gareth Southgate, should be saying, go on, push in there, push right on top of him.
So England's width now provided by two substitutes. On that occasion by Cole himself. Boda. Bierhoff. The dice have lost out to Barry. Now, what's on for England here? Beckham. Another near miss.
Good pressure on him at the end. He gets a little bit of space, David Beckham, but they do go to him quickly, and it's only the bend on the ball that takes it wide. You can see what he's doing, quite deliberate, David, with his aim here. Oh, on target, that really would have tested Oliver Kahn.
Just one goal as there was in the Charleroi back in June. And it was in England's favour. Scholes gets past two with that little manoeuvre. Dyer looking for Barmby now. He's just really wanted to get it across the face of the goal.
Yeah, I felt so. Yeah, I think a David Beckham in that position, Mark, would have just fed that and teased it. That's all, he just teased it round the corner. He's rather thrashed at it. Kieran Dyer, too much pace on it.
Certainly not Dyer. None of us are. It's as if, well, the gods weeping for Wembley. There is a great viewing room up in the heavens. They would be jostling for seats today. Think of Bobby Moore, Sir Alf, Sir Stanley. Those workers who built this stadium, 5,000 of them, built it in 300 days back in the early 1920s.
You don't want to bet the next one won't be built in 300 days, do you?
So it's certainly more than 3 years till the next game. Is that progress? I suppose it is. Keown, England wanting progress of the football kind here.
Yeah, David Beckham's hand reaches to his left knee.
Keown.
He's played well for Milan. He's been one of the best players.
10 minutes away from being the scorer of the last ever goal at Wembley. England have a chance here. Khan decides to help his way for a corner, not wanting to risk the catch in the crowd.
Well, you can only catch it now, late this late, if you're really confident and you're under no pressure. And Oliver Kahn, well, he did the right thing. As assuming his defenders can deal with this corner, but it gives England an opportunity for Paul Scholes to load when David Beckham's really struggling, Mark.
Yeah, because Beckham will be taking the corner.
He's not moved
otherwise.
from the halfway line. His hand went to his left knee. He's not happy. Must be a change coming.
Beckham really consign himself to the ranks of the spectators at the moment. He's edging across towards the far touchline to get off. Now he's got to get back. And it's Scholl against Dyer and Beckham. Here's Ballack. Novotny's made a great run on the far side. It's Jens Novotny, takes the touch. And
he's going to get booked, you know, Mark. Do you know why?
using a handball. Yeah.
What a chance, and we talk about conditions again. That for me is the reason this isn't 2-0, because as it comes and it skips off the ground, it makes it really difficult for him to control. What a glorious chance for Germany to end this game. He's a little unlucky, there's no real intent there, was there? Just hit his thigh and then up to his arm. But it's the end of the day for David Beckham.
And there are 8 minutes for Ray Parlour of Arsenal, who of course used this stadium as a home ground in the Champions League for a couple of campaigns. So Kevin Keegan has run the 3 permitted changes. It's Scholes. Headed out by Novotny, a towering figure at the back. Hamann, it's a delightful pass for Scholl. England are chasing the game as they have been for so much of it. Danger of being picked off in the counter-attack, not like that though.
It was poor play from Boda. You can imagine 7 minutes to go. Why not just keep the ball? What does he do? He tosses it in, gives England back possession. England are happy to take it and happy to force the Germans back yet again. Is there an opening? Is there a goal?
There's no free kick there. Dyer ran into Ballack. Looking ahead for you, the Republic of Ireland against Estonia. That's live on Sky Sports 1 next Wednesday from the World Cup qualifiers, of course. And next Sunday, We're at Pride Park, Derby County against Liverpool, FA Carling Premiership, Sky Sports 1, Sky Sports Extra. I say next Sunday, that's a week tomorrow. Parlour. Gareth Barry in some space. Looked at a shot that might have been veering its way inside the far post, and it got beyond Deisler, which it didn't. Keogh. All hands to the pump, you feel, for England when the opportunity presents itself, but they have to have the ball. Scholl.
They've had some good players today, the Germans, Mark. They've needed them. Good players when they've been on top of the game. And those same players have been very good when they've been up against it, as they have been for quite a bit of this second half.
Of course, it's been the one criticism of Wembley down the years, really, that it's such an encouraging venue for the opposition as well as the home players. Privileged to play here. Parlour. He's kept it in, Parlour. Only momentarily, it's a goal kick. Well, Kevin Keegan certainly knew when I spoke to him in the week that there'd be a lot of questions asked of him if England were to lose this game. Rudy Fowler, so often a winner as a player with Germany, wanting to know from the fourth official how long there is to go. You can see in the top left-hand corner of your screens, there will be stoppage time. And it's not the scoreline that England supporters wanted to be shining on that board that once read 4-2, England-West Germany in 1966. Not the same board, incidentally. They hadn't invented the electronics in those days.
Is that old guy up there working him again? He looks offside, Dyer. Yeah, just drifted. A very interesting, very good ball delivered from left to right. Gareth Southgate. This change is going to be made. We wonder, this has got to be for tired legs. It's got to be.
Well, it's Christian Ziege, another Liverpool player involved. Poor Marco Boda on that left-hand side. Maybe Boda gets the hook for that wasteful crosser a minute or so ago.
Well, he gets the hook as well, I think, because they bring on the fresh Christian Ziege against Kieran Dyer, who's still pretty fresh, even though he's played for 40 minutes of this half. There's one big push for England now, one more.
Scholes. Dyer. Owen for Kieran Dyer again. And Parlour's on a run, and Germany haven't quite tracked him, although Haman's got across. Parlour still gets his centre in. It was a good one. But Raymer not for the first time. Able to steer away a ball delivered from right to centre by England.
One or two tired passes coming in from Germany, Mark. One or two tired legs are out that football pitch. England can only keep them back there. Can only work them across the pitch.
Southgate. Deisler sticking to his task.
Oh, he's getting it against Southgate, saying that the ball came back off Deisler onto Southgate and out. Well, we wondered about the Germans, Mark. They're a far better side and stronger side than they were a couple of months ago in Euro 2000. They are on the way back for me. This has been so typical of German performances through the years.
Well, it's been typical of the way they play in terms of the shape of the side.
Absolutely.
And the players, whoever they are, whoever the coaches, slot into it. Owen. Doubling up on Michael Owen here at Germany.
Well, it's seen so much magic throughout the years, throughout this history of this stadium, this football pitch. I wonder if someone in a red shirt has one more piece of magic to bestow on it before they start pulling it down. Could it be that young man?
Well, an equaliser for England in these circumstances would seem like a winner. So late. And it is Paul Scholes for Cole. Scraped away by Lincoln. England's throw. 75 seconds and stoppage time to go at Wembley. Keogh plonks it in. Bierhoff is back. Southgate trying to get some width into it, not just to play it into the tall German back line. There was a good merit in that. At least England get a throw from it.
Get up, Tony Adams. Just wander up there.
Harman, it's another brilliant pass from him. Scholl. He's got Bierhoff with him. He's onside Bierhoff, but his touch wasn't good enough, and England don't dwell on that. They switch forward through Parler here. It's asking a bit much for 3 lions to roar at this stage, but one would do.
What a chance that was for Bierhoff, Mark.
Here's Harman. There might be another chance for Germany to wrap it up here. Well, they've got a corner, and that, of course, will take some time. And we're moving into time added on.
We have 2 more minutes of football here at Wembley.
2 more minutes. It represents the last sentence in the final paragraph on the day of the concluding chapter. And Deisler will take it for the team that leads by 1-0. Barry clears. Owen. It's his opposite number, and clubmate. He won't want to have injured Liverpool's most potent striker here. Confirmation, 76,377.
Well, Tony Adams is gone. He's up there. He's centre forward.
Attendance announced here for the last time. Remember, there were estimated 250,000 here. The first game was played. The FA Cup final in 1923. Breaker through the centre, and it's Jens Novotny again. Gareth Barry trying to get a challenge in. It's teed up for Deisler.
Oh, what a chance, sir. What about that Novotny, Mark? I mean, we're in added time. They're hanging on at 1-0, and the sweeper makes an 80-yard sprint. And what it should have done is sealed the game for the Germans. That's what it should have done.
Barmby with the throw. And Barmby's long ball towards Andy Cole. Who's going to have the final kick of a football at Wembley? If it's Harman, it will be very appropriate. It is the scorer of the last goal. The guests have spoilt the party. Wembley's last game belongs to Germany. The glorious past of distant years giving way to a very disappointing end to England's final 90 minutes at their spiritual home. And the degree of difficulty achieving automatic qualification for the World Cup is significantly increased right at the outset. They were caught napping by Didi Hamann, and they could never make up the loss of that goal so early today. Germany with 6 points already. England empty-handed from this day. Possibly all the emotion sapped rather than strengthened their efforts. But Andy, it hasn't gone to the script.
No, it hasn't, man, but it was never going to be easy. We talked about this being the perfect opponent for them. It was also the perfect opponent capable of spoiling the party. I don't think anyone around the footballing world would be surprised that 1 goal only separates these two. We couldn't have picked a winner. Unfortunately for England and Kevin Keegan, it wasn't his day. They didn't do enough for me, Martin. They weren't at their best in the first half. Kevin made changes, they were better second half, but they could have still been caught in the break 2 or 3 times. The Germans could have won more convincingly than they did.
Well, over the next couple of weeks there will be private games here, then a temporary roof will be erected for a grand closing down ball, and on November the 5th the notices will go up and the site will be closed down, and Wembley Stadium, as we know it, as we've loved it, will be no more. Jens Novotny and his teammates well aware of all the history here. We all look forward to the creation of the new ground. Fantastic amenities for the fans and the players, a fresh venue of legends. But for this Wembley Stadium, it is the end, a setting for sporting greatness from 1923 to the year 2000. Bulldozers can demolish the structure, but not the memories. But reflections on today will live longest in another part of Europe. England have lost by 1-0.
That's rather spoilt the celebrations that were planned, of course. But you have to admire them. They've come, they've done a job. They're clear, well clear, in England's World Cup qualifying group. Still to come here before we finish at 5:30. Man of the match verdict. I think you can probably all work that out for yourselves. Kevin Keegan's reaction, of course, and we'll be speaking with some of the boys of '66. We'll also get Alan's thoughts when we come back on a day that England wanted so desperately to have the final word on. But the Germans have. They've won it 1-0.
A quick word about tonight's lineup.
Yeah, sure.
Please stop 7. The right choice for kickoff?
What?
Malcolm in the middle. He should be playing up front, shouldn't he?
Analyze what I had for lunch.
Clinical, efficient, German. 1-0. Kind of had a feeling early in the day, didn't you? And the celebrations to mark the closing of Wembley Stadium rather fell a bit flat, in truth. Quick reminder of what's still to come tonight after we finish here at Wembley. On Sky Sports 1, there's live Super League, the final eliminator of the playoffs. Wigan Warriors take on the Bradford Bulls. That's for place in the grand final. There's World Championship boxing at 8 o'clock. More late-night wrestling at 10. On 2 at 5:30, a special edition of Rob McCaffrey's phone-in. Basketball after that at 6:30. US Tour Golf from 9. And over on Sky Sports 3 now, there's live snooker in the semi-finals of the British Open. Man of the match had to be, didn't it? Didi Hamann.
Dimar, what's it feel like to be the last man to score at Wembley Stadium?
Well, it's always a good feeling to score for your national side. Well, it's, I think, a special one because the last game of Wembley. But yeah, it was an important game for us. And yeah, fortunately we won. We are in a good position to have 6 points out of 2 games. And yeah, good result for us.
When you got the free kick, was it in your mind to have a pop for goal with the conditions as they were?
Yeah, I was sure that I will have a strike on goal because the conditions were very tough for the goalkeepers today, very wet. And yes, I think David Seaman wasn't very ready for the shot. So I had a quick strike, and yeah, I think he wasn't exactly in the middle of the goal, so it was very difficult for him to save it, and yeah, fortunately it went in.
How difficult were the conditions out there today, Dimar?
Yeah, I think everybody saw the rain. It started raining yesterday in the evening, and pitch was very wet, very slippery, and yeah, it's never easy because you can't turn like you can when the pitch is dry. So I think for both teams was it very tough. Probably for the English a little bit tougher because we scored early in the game, and when you have to make the game and play and chase the game, it's even more difficult.
Do you feel it was a comfortable victory in the end?
Well, I think it was a deserved victory because we had a couple of more chances to score the second, but the English played well in the second half, especially had a couple of half chances, but I think at the end a deserved win for us.
And now you've got to go back to Liverpool having spoiled the party.
Well, they spoiled our party during the Euro. Maybe we spoiled theirs now, but yeah.
But you are the nationwide man match. Congratulations.
Goodbye, Wembley. We'll miss you. Shouldn't really let it spoil what's passed before, should we? But it does all feel a little bit flat, inevitably. The Germans have come here, and they've done us again. By 1-0. Dietmar Hamann, the scorer. And they're clear in the qualifying group. better second half from England, but never quite enough. And it's difficult to argue with his verdict of it, that the Germans probably deserved to win it because they threatened more often, didn't they? They had more of it. Alan Shearer's been with us all afternoon, shaking his head a little bit in disbelief, but there's also, I don't know, a feeling of inevitability about it too, wasn't there? If anybody was going to come here today and spoil it, it would be Germany, wouldn't it?
If you're going to have a celebration, then don't invite the Germans, because they're first class at being party poopers. They've come here and they've done a fantastic job, and you have to give them credit. I mean, they've been very, very professional. They didn't really look in danger right throughout the match. It was only long-range efforts. Michael Owen's chance that he had was the only real chance England had in the game, so it was very disappointing. It's very difficult to pick a game up when you start it slowly, as we did in the first half, and we're always chasing the game from then onwards.
Better second half, but having said that, still not good enough, was it?
No, not really. I think, as you said, it was a slight improvement in the second half when we had a little bit more width and asked one or two more questions of them. But they always come up with the answers. Whatever we threw at them, they could handle it, and they dealt with it with ease.
We talked before the game, as we look at the story of what happened here today, about how they may turn the build-up from their point of view, which was all about Christoph Daum and the allegations about his private life, the confusion around Rudi Völler. They turned all that to their advantage, didn't they? Brilliantly.
Well, just as Oliver Bierhoff said before the programme, that they're going to put it out of their mind, and if anything, it's going to get them closer together. And that's exactly what they did. And they were a closed unit today, and there was no gaps. And when we did create the gaps, they got back and cleared it. Very disappointing.
Paul Scholes will probably argue that wasn't a free kick, but England were caught napping. I mean, that really was basic stuff that was missing there, wasn't it? Somebody on the ball. Yeah,
it was. I mean, you see it all the time. Someone just standing on the ball, and then the ref has to ask you to move 10 yards. He won't book you straight away, he'll ask you. As long as you're walking back, you'll stop the free kick. But yeah, that was an error that could prove possible. As it happens, I thought in the second half that when David Seaman pulled a world-class save off, I thought that was going to be the turning point in the game, but obviously it wasn't meant to be.
Sometime before England asked some questions too in that first 45, wasn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't. As I said at half-time, I didn't think there was enough width. And when we had a little bit more width in the second half, as I said, there was a few more questions being asked. But I don't think we really deserve to get anything out of the game. I think if anyone's been honest, then Germany deserved to win. But I must say, we didn't have the drop of the ball at any time during the game in their box. Everything seems to
anywhere
fall
really.
For them.
Nothing came England's way, did it?
You see, in this game, you make your own luck, and we deserved it because, as I said, Germany worked very, very hard with a closed unit and couldn't break them down.
Not too many Englishmen will be overly happy with their performance, I'm sure, but Andy Cole never stood still, did he?
No, he didn't. I thought he worked very, very hard. I thought he worked the channels, and if anyone I thought was going to score, then it was going to be him. He picked up a booking in the first half, which would be disappointing for him, but I thought he was always a threat, and his work rate deserved better.
Inevitably, as England went searching for chances, there were others at the end. That's the save you're talking about.
Yeah,
fantastic stuff.
I did really think, I said to you sitting up here, that I thought that's going to be the turning point now. David's pulled a great save off and we're going to go on and get something out of the game, but it obviously wasn't meant to be. And the more we pushed forward for an equaliser, and the more threatening Germany became on the break.
We were better second half. Why?
I thought because we had a little bit of width. Obviously the manager changed the system at half-time and played three at the back and played two wing-backs in Graham Lassau and in Kieran Dyer. And the pitch was a lot bigger then. There was more spaces for us, whereas in the first half we were playing within 10 or 20 yards of each other and there was nowhere to go.
What's the system that you prefer at this level?
It's very difficult to say. I think as everyone knows, we're struggling for players on the left-hand side, and it's Graham Lassau's first game for 16 or 18 months, whatever it was. So it's going to take time for him to get back in. But we haven't really got any natural left-sided players. Gareth Barry did well in France, and he can feel disappointed that he's been left out today. But he's still very young. I think probably a 3-5-2. It worked a little bit better for us in the second half, but still we didn't create as many chances as we would have liked.
David Beckham didn't finish the game, must be a doubt for Wednesday already, and that's a match that England just cannot afford to slip up in now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're under pressure whatever England game you're playing, but obviously because you're going into a game now on the back of a defeat, it's going to be a huge game for us, and it's a game that obviously we must win.
Germany could have finished it off there. In the end, they didn't have to. It was Didi Iman who got the last touch, and we saw him leaving with the ball as well. But Kevin Keegan with an awful lot to think about right now. Qualifying group, Germany top, well clear. 6 points from 2 games played. Greece play Finland tonight. England, of course, play in Finland on Wednesday. Take another break. We'll get Kevin Keegan's thoughts when we come back on a day that Germany came to Wembley and won. Wednesday night. Now, Alan, the manager often says it's great to have a spell with his players, that there are things you can work on when they don't disappear at this point back to club size. But when you're in there now, desperately flat after a result like this, what happens next?
Well, it's a manager's job to pick the players up, and to be fair to Kevin, he's one of the best in the business at doing that, at motivating. And I must stress that I'm sure there's going to be a lot of hurt people and angry people out there tonight, but I can assure you that no one will be more hurt and angry than Kevin Keegan himself. He'll be bitterly disappointed at the way his team's played. But I think, as I said, Kevin's very, very good at motivating. He has to do a good job.
Will that be his primary motive now, or will it be anger at what he's seen and the fact that these 3 points have slipped away almost too easily?
Yeah, they've slipped away and there's no turning back from that now, but they have 3 or 4 days to get prepared, which isn't a lot, because it is a massive, massive game. It's a game that they can't afford to slip away on Wednesday with the start we've had. But we started poorly before when we played Sweden under Glenn Hoddle. We picked ourselves up and qualified for that, and hopefully we can do the same.
You talked about England not getting breaks. It didn't happen all afternoon. Is this an example? The free kick that was given against Paul Scholes, that I'm sure he'll argue about and say wasn't. In fact, we saw did at the time.
Yeah, I'm sure Paul will be disappointed to have lost the ball there anyway in the first place, but you can clearly see that he has taken the ball. But having said that, the rest give a free kick, and he's given us ample time to get ready for it. So someone has to stand on the ball, and you can see how angry David Seaman was when Dietmar Hamanns hit the ball, that he was left unprotected. Really.
And will a player here be able to? Refs not said don't take, shouldn't take. I remember one of yours at Ewood Park against Queen's Park Rangers. Yeah. What's the instruction? Ready when you are, or? Well,
you have the choice. The referee actually says to you, do you want to take it early or do you want to get the wall 10 yards? So obviously Didi's gave him a shout and said, well, I'm going to take it early here. And I was with Didi at Newcastle, and he's a tremendous striker of the ball, and he's hit a peach of a shot there, and I'm sure David would have been bitterly disappointed. The conditions didn't help. It was obvious it was going to bounce in front and skid off the surface, and as I said at half-time, once David's gone to his right, it was impossible for him to get back to his left because of how slippery it was.
But nevertheless, should the keeper have done better than that?
I think he'll be very disappointed that it's gone in. I didn't think he got any help from anyone in the team, but I think he'll be bitterly disappointed. It was as if it was in the corner.
Was it almost schoolboy stuff? The fact you made mention of the fact that there should have been somebody on that ball to stop the free kick being taken so early.
Well, you see it week in, week out, that when you've given a free kick away, you stand on the ball to stop someone taking it, and we do it all the time, but for some reason we've slipped up there and let them take a quick free kick which should never really gone in.
And then, despite the fact that it got better, never quite enough from England. Now, where, if anywhere, I mean, maybe the changes are enforced upon Kevin Keegan. We saw David Beckham limp out, but where, if anywhere, would you be thinking about perhaps changing it for Wednesday night, if indeed that's required?
Well, I'm sure Kevin, a talking point is going to be the way he played Gareth in the first half. Was a few people that would have been surprised at that selection. Whether he can look at that, whether he can look with a more positive side that to come out of the second half. At least he did improve a little bit with more width that they had. There's nothing more frustrating as a centre forward when you're not getting balls into the box. And for the majority of the game today, there was nothing coming in for Andy and Michael. And you see Andy probably more so than Michael working the channels. And you have to do that, and you have to do that in the end because you're not getting anything into the box, and you have to go looking for the ball rather than the ball come to you.
Too often Germany have done that to us, but we did them in '66. Let's go to Southampton and join Guy Havorders with some of the boys of '66 before they depart on a business cruise. Reaction from some of the heroes from back then. Here's Guy.
Yes, welcome back to Southampton Docks. It's been a gloomy afternoon for us as well. We've been watching the game up on the big screen. The boys are heading off to some sunny climes, but George Cohen and Martin Peters, who are with us, not a lot to shout about for English fans today.
No, Guy, it was a little upsetting for me anyway. I think the Germans were a pretty rough and tough side. Kept possession well, helped each other out, defend.